Elon Musk, known for his sharp suits and polished appearance, was unrecognizable. Instead of his usual attire, he wore an old oversized jacket, frayed jeans, a scruffy beanie, and a fake beard that concealed his identity. In this outfit, there was no hint that he was one of the richest people in the world, but Elon had a purpose: to observe how society judged and treated people based solely on appearances. Dressed in his disguise, Elon set his sights on a modest coffee shop for his experiment. Located in the bustling heart of the city, Brew Haven Coffee was known for its cozy atmosphere, but also harbored a mix of personalities among its staff. As Elon stood before the glass door, he took a deep breath, anticipating what might unfold once he stepped inside. In this moment, he wasn't a billionaire. He was just another customer. As soon as he entered, Elon was met by Rick, the burly security guard stationed at the door. Rick immediately eyed him up and down, his expression a mixture of suspicion and disdain as he took in Elon's worn-out clothes. "What are you doing here?" Rick barked, his tone sharp and unwelcoming. Elon, unfazed, responded calmly, "I'm here to get some coffee." Rick, however, didn't move, his skepticism growing. This initial confrontation marked the beginning of Elon's social experiment. It was clear from Rick's tone and body language that Elon's appearance had already influenced the way he was being perceived. But Elon remained composed, determined to see how far this bias would go. Elon finally made it past the security guard's unwelcoming glare and approached the counter. Behind it stood two employees, a cheerful young man named Ethan, whose warm smile immediately set a welcoming tone, and a tired-looking woman named Cindy, whose stern expression radiated impatience. Ethan greeted Elon with genuine enthusiasm. "Good morning. How can I help you today?" he asked, his voice bright and friendly. Elon replied calmly, "I'd like a cappuccino, please." But before he could even finish, Cindy rolled her eyes dramatically, her lips curling into a sneer. "Really? Someone like him wants to sit here?" she muttered under her breath, her words dripping with disdain. Elon heard the comment but chose not to react, maintaining his composure. He simply smiled and turned back to Ethan, saying, "Thank you." Ethan, undeterred by Cindy's negativity, nodded and turned to prepare the order. Cindy, however, couldn't resist muttering another sarcastic remark. "People like this are everywhere now. Guess he'll be hanging around all day making a mess." Ethan paused for a moment, frowning slightly. He turned to Cindy and said quietly but firmly, "Cindy, please be respectful. It's our job to treat everyone well." Cindy, barely looking up from her phone, scoffed and continued scrolling as if she hadn't heard him. Elon observed the stark contrast between the two employees. Ethan's professionalism and genuine kindness stood out in sharp relief against Cindy's disdainful attitude. Ethan soon returned with the cappuccino, placing it gently in front of Elon. "Here you go, sir. Enjoy," he said with a warm smile. Elon nodded in gratitude, his voice soft but sincere. "Thank you so much. You're very kind." Elon took his coffee and found a quiet corner table where he could observe the interactions around him. It didn't take long for Cindy's rude behavior to resurface. An elderly man approached the counter, his hands trembling slightly as he tried to read the menu. Cindy's impatience flared immediately. "Do you even know what you want, or are you planning to stand there all day?" she snapped. The man, visibly flustered, lowered his gaze and murmured, "Just a tea, please." Cindy slapped the tea on the counter with a loud thud and said curtly, "Here. Anything else?" Elon watched the scene unfold, his heart heavy. The elderly man shuffled away with his tea, his shoulders hunched in embarrassment. But then Ethan stepped in, handing the man a small packet of sugar with a gentle smile. "Enjoy your tea, sir," he said warmly. The man looked up at Ethan, his eyes filled with gratitude. Cindy's behavior only worsened as a young woman entered the cafe, balancing a baby in her arms. As the woman glanced at the menu, her baby began to fuss softly. Cindy immediately scowled. "Really? You brought a baby here? Are you trying to ruin everyone's peace and quiet?" she exclaimed loudly, her tone harsh and unkind. The young woman's eyes filled with tears as she stammered, I just wanted a coffee." Ethan quickly stepped in, his voice calm and reassuring. "Don't worry, ma'am. I'll have your coffee ready in just a moment," he said, flashing her a comforting smile. Elon observed this, deeply impressed by Ethan's ability to remain kind and composed despite the tense atmosphere created by Cindy's behavior. The difference between the two employees was glaring. Cindy's dismissive and judgmental attitude poisoned the cafe's warm environment, while Ethan's consistent professionalism and empathy shone like a beacon. Elon sipped his coffee, reflecting on the scene before him. A person's character is revealed in their actions, he thought. As Elon finished his coffee and walked back to the counter, he stopped to thank Ethan. "Your kindness doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you for being so considerate," he said, his tone filled with sincerity. Ethan smiled humbly, his genuine warmth apparent in his eyes. Cindy, meanwhile, remained glued to her phone, oblivious to the impact of her actions. Elon left the cafe with much to ponder. The kindness Ethan had shown stood in stark contrast to Cindy's rudeness. But for Elon, this was just the beginning of an experiment that would reveal far more about the nature of human decency and the consequences of neglecting it. Elon sat quietly in the corner of the cafe, sipping his coffee as he observed the interactions around him. The contrast between Ethan's genuine kindness and Cindy's relentless judgment became increasingly apparent. When a middle-aged woman approached the counter to ask a few questions about the menu, Cindy snapped impatiently. "Are you going to stand here all day asking questions?" she barked, her tone dripping with irritation. The woman, visibly embarrassed, returned to her table without another word, her head slightly bowed. Elon watched this unfold, his expression somber. Meanwhile, Ethan continued to serve customers with unwavering warmth and respect, balancing professionalism and empathy with ease. He noticed the middle-aged woman looking disheartened and walked over with a gentle smile, offering her a sugar packet and a kind word. "Enjoy your coffee, ma'am," he said softly. The woman's face lit up with gratitude, a stark contrast to the disdain she had just experienced. Elon couldn't help but feel disappointed by Cindy's behavior, yet deeply moved by Ethan's efforts to brighten the day of every customer. Cindy, however, remained oblivious to the negative atmosphere she was creating. She rolled her eyes at nearly every customer who approached her, muttering sarcastic comments under her breath. After an hour of quiet observation, Elon finally stood up and approached the counter. Ethan was diligently wiping it down, while Cindy leaned against the back wall, scrolling through her phone. "Ethan," Elon began in a calm, measured tone. Ethan looked up, surprised. "Yes, sir? How can I help you?" he asked politely. Elon smiled warmly. "You're a good man, Ethan. It's rare to find someone who treats everyone with respect, regardless of how they look or where they come from," he said. Cindy, overhearing this, frowned and turned to face them. "What's going on here?" she demanded, her tone sharp and defensive. Elon shifted his gaze to Cindy, his expression calm but firm. "Some people deserve to be treated with kindness, regardless of their appearance. Perhaps that's something you could learn," he said evenly. Cindy looked away, her discomfort visible, while Ethan stood silently, processing the unexpected praise. As Ethan resumed his work, Elon reached into his jacket and pulled out a sleek business card, extending it toward Ethan. The young barista hesitated, his eyes wide with confusion. "What's this?" he asked hesitantly. Elon smiled. "Take a look," he said. Ethan took the card with trembling hands, his eyes scanning the bold letters on its surface. "Elon Musk." Ethan's jaw dropped. "Wait, are you Elon Musk?" he stammered, disbelief etched across his face. Elon nodded, his expression calm but sincere. "Yes, that's me. I've been observing you, Ethan. Your kindness and professionalism are rare qualities. I'd like to offer you an opportunity," he said. Ethan stared at the card, his emotions a mix of shock, gratitude, and disbelief. "Call this number tomorrow," Elon continued. "We need people like you, people who see others for who they truly are, not for how they look." Cindy, overhearing their conversation, scoffed loudly. "Him? He's just a barista. Why would you care about him?" she said, her voice filled with derision. Elon turned to her, his tone calm but pointed. "Kindness is a strength, Cindy. Perhaps you should try it sometime," he said. Ethan, still in shock, managed to stammer a soft, "Thank you, Mr. Musk. I don't know what to say." Elon smiled. "Just call the number," he said, giving Ethan a reassuring pat on the shoulder before leaving the cafe. The next day, Ethan nervously dialed the number on Elon's card. He was surprised when someone from Tesla's HR department answered and invited him for an interview. A mixture of excitement and anxiety filled him as he prepared for what felt like a life-changing opportunity. During the interview, Ethan spoke passionately about his background in automotive engineering and the dreams he had put on hold to support his family. 2 days later, his phone rang. It was Elon himself. "Ethan," Elon said warmly, "I've got good news. Welcome to the Tesla team." The words felt surreal. Ethan's dream of working in the automotive industry had finally come true. He shared the news with his family, who were overjoyed. His mother cried tears of happiness, and his father, a retired mechanic, beamed with pride. With his new job, Ethan was able to move his family to a better neighborhood and provide them with the stability they had always longed for. As for Cindy, her rude behavior caught up with her. Complaints from both customers and coworkers led to her being transferred to another branch, where she was forced to reevaluate her actions. Elon's social experiment not only transformed Ethan's life, but also served as a powerful reminder of the importance of treating others with respect. It was a lesson in the enduring impact of kindness, a lesson that resonated far beyond the walls of Brew Haven Coffee.